everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is MichelleAna, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here for a while and you've been a part of the family, I just want to welcome you back onto my channel today. Today's video is a Q&A, so it's really curated by the questions that you guys sent me on Instagram. Before we go on with the video, I do have a ton of questions. If you feel like there's a question that you just want me to pause and actually extend a little bit more, because you'll see I'm gonna try to fly by these questions and not make this video super long. But if there's something that you guys are like, wait a minute, like I think that this would be a great video or a question to really pause and talk about a little bit more, just let me know in the comment section below. Just leave a comment and say, hey, this question really intrigued me, can you expand on this? I definitely invite you to go ahead and don't be afraid of the comment section. I know it could be a little intimidating because, you know, sometimes for the most part, it could be about faith and religion and spirituality and your relationship with God. But I want to encourage you to have those questions and feel like you can have those questions. We are all on different levels and we are all here to gain a better understanding on who we are on this earth and our relationship with God. So I have the questions here. I have a few pages worth. So hopefully, like I said, I can get right through it. Can we get into this hair first? I have to wash my hair. I have to wash my hair, so I threw on this hat. I think Curtis got this hat for me like years ago from H&M, and honestly, I rock it like honey. I'm like, yes, I think it's a great fall look too. Also, I know you guys are going to ask me for the lip, but it is my classic LIPPIE from Fenty Beauty, and I'll leave a description below. Also, oh my gosh, if you guys only knew, like, I'm sorry if the sound is going in and out. I use actually my phone. That's a hack, a tip that I use. But I have my reflector on me, and I have a little cafecito too. So hold on one second. I want to show you my shirt. I have to give my girl a shout out. Pray like lives depends on it. This is a movement, y'all. My friend Trinity, she was so gracious enough to send me 2 shirts. So she sent me this shirt, and the other shirt was lead worship like lives depend on it. I don't know if you guys follow her on social media, but I'll put her social handle down in the description box so you guys can check all of her other merch out. She has like dance like lives depend on it. They are bomb. All right, so here we go. We're gonna get right into the questions. All right, so the first question was, did you get eyelash extensions? A random question, LOL. Not random at all, girl. Thank you so much, because she did throw me a compliment. Thank you so much. Yes, these are eyelash extensions. I pretty much asked for a flare out look, like kind of like a flare look, and then also just for it to look like I have mascara on, because my lashes are really long, surprisingly enough. Your career as an influencer, is it your full-time gig? Are you shocked at your current line of work? So it is kind of my full-time. I'm trying to make it my full-time. But I do know that God is kind of highlighting some gifts inside of me that I'm quite frankly very afraid of myself. And I'm just like, God, like, what we doing? What we really doing? And so as God develops those gifts inside of me and really just teaches me and is stewarding me in the direction of learning more of those things, I am kind of sort of doing the YouTuber, blogger, influencer thing as well. So I hope that answers your question. The same person asked, so what exactly is happening in South Carolina? Sis, I wish I knew too, because God is just like, girl, I just need you there. And I followed his voice, and that was that. The next question says, how would you have felt if you had kids before your husband died? So we didn't have kids. So I can't really answer that question because I don't really know how I would have felt. I honor single mothers. I honor widows who are now single moms. And to be quite honest with you, like, that is a task. Like, that is a gift that you got to be gifted for that calling. And I don't think that was assigned for me. You know, I have my own walk, my own thing that I'm kind of going through, and kids just weren't in the vision that God had for me at the time. And doesn't negate that, you know, we didn't want kids. Like, I wanted Curtis, since he was little, he would tell his mom that he wanted 100 girls. Like, he wanted 100 daughters. I don't know how that was going to happen, but you know, we always wanted kids, and I adore children. I adore babies. One day I want to have a lot of kids, but in the meantime, I'm just, you know, maintaining faithful and knowing that God has the best design plan for me. And so I'm not really concerned about that. Hi, Michelle. Love you lots. What are some of your hobbies besides doing YouTube and makeup? So one of my hobbies, surprisingly enough, I could be a bit of a bookworm. I love to read. I know that sounds like really corny and like probably whack, but I really do like to read. And so with that being said, I actually, oh my God, I have to be careful with my coffee. Like maybe I should put it down somewhere else. I'm actually currently finishing up, because I've been reading this for a while, this book called Influencer by Brittany Hennessy. I'm going to put a link to the books that I'm reading in the description box, as you could probably find a lot of things there. So just make sure you take a look at that. Other one called Fervent. It is a woman's battle plan for serious, specific, and strategic prayer. I feel like I'm having technical difficulties here, but the devil is a liar. Another thing I like to do is go thrifting. I like really enjoy the adventure and like the thrill of finding something old and making it new. I think that's just so beautiful. And I also like hiking. I haven't been in a while, but hiking is really cool. I love nature. Love looking at sunsets, like all that stuff. So hiking is another thing that I like to do for fun. On the days where anxiety creeps in or loneliness, which I have a lot of, what are strategies you use to IG kind of cut it off, but I kind of feel like I understand your question. Now, I feel like I haven't really talked about this topic, but at some point 2 years ago, like the end of 2016, where I was in my life, it was just a very difficult time, along with all the things that transpired in 2017. And so when I went into therapy, I literally was borderline clinically depressed, and it was just a very sad time of my life. I had a lot of anxiety. I remember my first panic attack was that summer when I found out that something had happened to my father or whatever, and I just was like way too. Oh, you guys know how I am with my dad. So I was just like, I literally had a panic attack. And now I've come a long way from, you know, how I deal with my anxiety and things like that. And so to be honest with you, where was the question? I literally have to place both of my hands on my head and say, God, regulate my mind, regulate my thoughts. Take every thought captive that does not belong to you and replace it with the ones that belong to you, with the things that you say I am. And I think that this is actually a topic that I can expand on. I feel it in my heart that I should expand on. But that's one of the ways that I cope with it. Making it known how I feel. So honoring how I feel. Yes, I feel anxious. Yes, I feel sad. Yes, I feel anger, whatever it is. But also replacing that with, well, God, this is what you say in your word. And this is what I'm going to choose to believe at this moment for my life. Next question is, how do you speak to friends about God without shoving it down their throat? I think that your life should just exude something different. Should exude that you are living by example, that you're living a Christian life, a godly life. So something should be different about you. And I think that should be a starting point where people and your friends realize like, yo, like friend, there's something different about you. What is it? Then at that point, they're asking you. So it's not like you're shoving it down their throat. Who do you look forward to seeing on a daily basis, weekly or monthly? Physical person. So now that I'm over here, I'm so looking forward to being back home for Thanksgiving. I actually fly out, I think on Thanksgiving Day, back to Jersey, and I'm going to be in Jersey and New York. I'm going to be there for like a few days. So I knew I was going to come back for the holiday season, especially for like Vlogmas and Christmas, New Year's and stuff like that. So I'll be back home. That's who I'm kind of looking forward to seeing physically. What are your 3 favorite colors? Oh my gosh, that's such a different question. I love yellow. So like any hue of yellow. And then I love beige, like beige colors, neutrals and stuff like that. I know that I'm not naming an exact color, but as someone who just loves visuals and loves like to look at the sky, like I just can't see one color. So that's what I would say the families that I kind of like. Do you think you'll ever be in another relationship? I don't really know. Like I don't really know. That is such a complex question, because I know some of y'all are like, sis, like, we want you to be with somebody. And then the other half is like, no, like, take your time and like all this stuff. The way that I am and the way that my heart is set up, I'm kind of just like really not even thinking about it and just kind of letting God handle that for me if it's something that is a part of my future. What did or do you use to study the Bible and understand it? Okay, so what I like to do, like basic things, is that if I'm reading something, a verse in one version, I like to also expand in the versions that I'm reading it in. So the ESV version or the NLT version or the NIV version or the amplified version, like I like to compare the different versions of verses that I'm reading. So that's something really basic and a quick tip that I would suggest. As far as like a deep study into the Bible and things like that, what I like to do is either use the any sort of devotional really, but not just read it and be done with it, but really like pick out words and pick out verses, really like whatever is kind of like sticking out to me, just dive into it and not make it some quick chore. Also, like there's so many like guided Bible studies out there. Like I know that I think it's called Proverbs 31 Ministries or something like that. Another, like, there's so many like guided Bible study things out there. There's also like a lot of platforms that I follow that are pretty amazing with developing monthly, weekly newsletters or like Bible studies. Like one of my favorite, which they nail it head on every single time, is Grit and Virtue. So if you follow Grit and Virtue on Instagram, I guarantee you it is going to be an amazing experience. You do bomb curls and all. God bless you. How do you keep so positive? I actually got that question a lot. How do I keep so positive? Honestly, like I ask the Lord every morning to be my joy, to restore my joy, and to just allow me to have a heart of gratitude. So when you have a heart of gratitude and when you give thanks for all things, I mean, even down to the blinking of your eye, to the opening of your eyes in the morning, to the lungs, to the breath that goes in and out of your lungs, inhaling and exhaling, like those are the minor things that sometimes like goes over our heads because we focus on the bad things. So the moment that you choose gratitude over focusing on the things that are going bad, your life really does change and your perspective really is just gazed on peace and really the pursuit of peace. What has been your biggest challenge moving away from home, from New Jersey? I think for me is I started to get like feelings of like really missing my family. I lived with my family for like a year and some change, and so I got used to that, but I knew that God was just calling me outside of my comfort zone. And so I kind of just continued to say to myself, I'm about to see them in like 2 weeks for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be okay. Are you vegetarian or vegan, and why did you make the transition? Honestly, for me, like at the core of it, like I used to have a lot of stomach issues, and once I realized that kind of eliminating heavy foods like meats. I'm Puerto Rican, y'all, and so we have pernil and pork and all that stuff like not like a weekly or monthly thing, but like around the holidays, and like, my mom used to cook like certain meats and stuff like that. And so in the house, like, that was just a norm. And so when I realized like I had to eliminate a lot of things in order to really better like the function of my stomach, I realized like, oh my gosh, like it doesn't have to be this way. Becoming a vegetarian really helped me out. I'm not quite vegan yet, but that would be amazing. And that's definitely a goal of mine. There's really no other reason other than just being a little bit more health conscious, but I do believe you can be healthy and still be a meat eater. Like I'm not like, I mean, that's not for me, but I'm not opposed to people who eat meat. Okay, how many questions do we have? Oh, Lord have mercy. We have a lot of questions. Let's go a little quicker. How long have you been saved? So I would say that, I grew up in church. So I have known of God my whole entire life, but I would say that I really chose God when I was about 15 going on 16 years old after experiencing a life-changing conference. And so I can talk a little bit more about that for sure, but I guess it's been More than 10 years. All right, so I love your style and how you put your pieces together. My question is, how do you do it? What do you look for when you're shopping and when you define your style? This is such a good question. So for me, a lot of it is just, I really like to find unique statement pieces and going from there. So that's why thrifting is so fun for me, because I can find this wild denim jacket or these really weird looking pants and pair it with a plain crew neck white tee in a cute way, so a lot of it has to do with being stylish but not being loud. I just buy something and I go with it. When I see something, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be dope. All right, so what does your necklace say? Oh, so my best friend got me this necklace when she went to Israel, and it's basically my name, and I believe this is written in Hebrew, I think. What does friendship mean to you? Do you keep a tight circle, or the more the merrier? Elizabeth, hey girl, this is a really good question. So friendship to me is, I feel like I've come to the age where I think that friendship, there's levels to friendships. I think that you have your deep core people, and then you have it goes out from there. I think before I had this really rigid view on if it's either we really, really tight or we're just kind of vibing type of thing. Now, as I grow up, as I'm adulting and really getting to know so many more people, I think that there are different levels to it. There are friends that you share really, really deep, heart-wrenching, ain't nobody can handle this type of things with. And then there are friends that are, you have the more lighthearted conversations. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that idea. Just make sure that when you're in a friendship, you both recognize the expectations. And for me, for example, I am such a low maintenance friend. I can literally, time can go by and I'm not offended if you don't hit me up. I'm just chilling, I'm good. And that's because I just know that life happens and we get busy. Oftentimes, if we're married, you have your spouse. If you have kids, you have your kids. So I'm not easily offended by friends that don't hit me up. But that's not always the case on the flip side. And so you just have to make the expectations clear and just from the forefront be listen, are you still very close to Curtis's family? Yes, we talk often. And even as I'm over here in Colombia, I love the family group chat that we have going on. So that's one of the things that I super just enjoy so much, that I'm able to just keep that relationship because they're family. How do you do your eyebrows? So right now I'm currently using the Anastasia Brow Wiz pencil, but I'm just not loyal to any one brow thing. So one day it could be this, another day it could be the NYX powder thingy. I'm going to leave the link in the description box once again, so you guys can check out what exactly I'm using. Will you ever do a meet and greet in London? I would love to do a meet and greet in London, but y'all gonna have to invite me out there, because honestly, I would love to. What keeps you trusting in God as much as sometimes his promises takes time? I think that one of the things in the Bible, it says his word does not return unto him void. And if I'm getting that wrong, I'll put the right thing here. And I love that, because that means that what he has spoken over you, and the promises that he has spoken over you are going to come to pass because he said it. And because he said it, there's nothing that we can do or he can do to go back on what he's already spoken in your life. And sometimes his promises feel like they take time, but when they happen, it's suddenly, it's yes. Another question is, how do you grow to love praying? Oh my gosh, this is something really near and dear to me right now, and I feel like I have to do a whole video about prayer, because I have had a new love for prayer. What we need to understand is that prayer is so powerful. When you pray according to the word of God, child, I'm gonna do a whole video about prayer. Where are your clear frames from? So these are from, I had to take them off because I didn't know how the reflection was gonna be, but these are from coastal.com. Actually, the reflection is not that bad, but I'm going to take them off just in case. And they're called Love, actually. I didn't even know that. But Yes, coastal.com. So someone asked, what happened to my wedding ring? Honestly, that's a video I have already kind of scheduled to do, because I think that as a young widow, like, I really feel like I can dive into a lot of specific questions that other young widows may have as well. And I think that I needed to walk through those certain things before I shared them, because I can't share something if I have not fully understood why I felt that way, or why I had to go through that, or why I did what I did. And so taking off my rings, that was a lot of hard work that I had to do, because I didn't want to do it because I felt like I had to. I wanted to do it because it was time to take off my rings. How do you stop seeking worldly things? When you have your eyes gazed on God, it doesn't mean that worldly things and the world just ceases to exist. Like, it's still gonna be out there. Like, you have to admit to yourself, like, okay, girl, like, I'm human. And so there are things that I'm going to desire naturally to do. But I think that when you put those things subject, and when you surrender those things to God and say, God, even though I desire this, like, I'm gonna have to give it to you. Like, there's nothing that I can do. So your love for God has to be greater than the love for the things of this earth. Another question is, how are you adjusting to the move? I'm adjusting pretty well. There were some kinks in the road, like with my car and like my credit card and just things like that. But at the end of the day, God is really faithful. Like, I'm literally seeing it day by day, all of this unfold. There was a point in time where I was like, what did I just do type of thing? And I'm going to talk about that like in my 1 month update video. I just think that trusting in what I know I heard is what's going to get me through. And I know that God will never, there's nothing that's going to separate me from the love of God. So knowing that, believing that, and trusting that is just, it solidifies everything that I need. Can you help me with filming? So I guess I can do a video about like filming, what I may use to film. I've been doing YouTube for about 3-4 years now. I've kind of gained some understanding on some things. I'm not a pro, and there are so many videos online with what to use and how to start and stuff like that. But I guess to kind of give you one of the first tips, which you'll hear time and time again, natural lighting is bomb, girl, and you just got to do it. What are your pet peeves? So one of my pet peeves is wasting my time. I think time is so precious, and so to feel like I've wasted my time, I be feeling so bad. Not that it gets me angry or anything like that, but it's definitely like a pet peeve. Like, I don't like wasting my time. What are some of the things you've experienced or God has shown you since your move? I see that God is just surprising me in the most subtle things, in the teaching that is being taught at my church. You know, the word really aligns with what I'm really wanting to learn. I've actually been sharing like church notes on my Instagram. I have a highlight just right on my Instagram where it just says church. And so basically that's where my church notes will live. But it's just so crazy how like the word that I've been receiving has been exactly what I needed to hear. Have you ever dealt with depression? Yes, I have. How do you balance your moral beliefs in this highly sensitive political climate? I think that just knowing what I believe in and trusting that that is what works for me, and not trying to press that, just living the life of the morals that I stand by. I think that speaks louder than trying to get in some sort of political debate. Now, I will say I am not, and that may not help like answer the question, but I think that I'm so not into politics or the news or anything like that, and that may be something that I need to grow in because it's the world that we live in. But I am so like disgusted with the things that I hear on the news when I do listen to the news that it breaks my heart. So I just don't even like to talk about it. What are you looking forward to the most in the next couple of months? So what I'm looking forward to is just God helping me to write. So I've been writing a lot. As in writing, I mean like as in a book. I really am trying to posture my heart in a way where the book that I write, it's going to be a lot of the things that I've been through in the past 2 to 3 years. And I really think that People need to hear it. So I got started about 4 years ago in 2014. And it was because my late husband was like, listen, you need to do this. Like, I feel like this is something really big. Like, you should totally do it. Why not? And I was like, okay, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I was hyping myself up. He was hyping me up. And then, advice that I would give to someone starting, just stay true to the message that you're trying to bring. If you're trying to start a faith-based platform or channel, whatever, let that be the core of who you are. You can be someone who does makeup videos and does all of that other stuff, but if the core of who you are doesn't align with those topics, don't stray away from who you set out to be on these internet streets. What is one thing you regret? And honestly, I really don't like to see it that way, because if I were to regret something, it's to say that I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So I'm thankful for every trial, every grieving moment, every happy moment, every joyful moment, because it made me really truly love who I am today. What makes you confident? Confidence. This actually reminds me, I'm speaking on a virtual conference, yes, about confidence after tragedy. So if you're interested in that, I have a link in the description box. You can go from wherever you are because it's virtual. So that's that. What makes me confident is that our lives are so small compared to eternity. And so because it's such a glimpse of what eternity would be like, what do you have to lose? Like, if you really thought about that and said, God, like, if I really trusted you and if I really was confident in who you called me to be, who would that be? And please make me into who she is. How do you deal with the drainage of social media and being a social media influencer? So one of the things that I try to stay away from is trying to compare myself. In that, I have to guard my heart. So I can't be scrolling through social media all the time, because a lot of my peers are influencers. I know a lot of influencers that have platforms far larger than myself. But this is the thing. God gives influence and gives certain people the influence because God trusts them with it. And so it depends on what we're all doing with our influence. But being this lifestyle influencer or whatever have you, I constantly find myself asking God to guard my heart, because at the core of who I am, I talk about my faith and my walk and my testimony and who I am and who I believe in. But I am a regular 28-year-old woman trying to figure this all out, and really working with brands and like all these things. And I thought at some point that talking about God would disqualify me from these awesome brand opportunities that I'm getting. But in fact, just being authentic to who I am has catapulted me to being in the room with these people that I never ever thought that I'd be in the room with. So just be who you are. Like, don't try to be somebody else. Like, be who you are, and that'll take you exactly where God meant to take you. I do have more questions, but this video is way too long and I'm just gonna leave it as is, and my throat is kind of hurting, so I don't know what that's about. I just want to encourage you guys. There was a lot of confidence questions. There was a lot of questions in regards to like identity and like faith and like testimony, and so I want to encourage you guys to just leave a comment below on what are the exact things that my next videos should be about. I know the year is ending. We have about like 51 to 50 days left as of this day. And that's kind of crazy. That's yet another year that closes out. It kind of brings up the question, like, what are we doing with our lives? Like, are we living on purpose? Are we really living out who we're called to be? And if we're not, what is stopping us from doing so? I just want to thank you so much for watching this far, for asking these amazing questions. I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure that you comment, you like, and you subscribe.